And we're live.
Hello, and welcome to the Modern Romantic Podcast, where we celebrate and inspire romanticism through passionate people doing incredible things. Hi, the rumors of my demise have been greatly exaggerated. Hi, I'm Trey, and I am joined by the co host that is giving me a huge what stare? Emily. Hi, Emily.
Hi. Yeah, the rumors of your demise. That's dark.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Didn't mean to start out that dark. I thought it'd be funny.
Have you heard the song Sweet Potato Casserole? I did it. I said it on air.
For anyone who does not know what Emily is talking about, please go Google search or somewhere SPC for life, and four being the number four. You will be treated to a minute-long song by Flula, and it is as delightful and meme-worthy from the early 2010s as you could possibly imagine.
And it's family friendly. It's pure and wholesome.
It really is. Give me brown sugar. That's all I'm going to say to that. Uh, so, what I can say, we also have two guests with us today who are equally as delightful as that song is, and I'm very happy to get to talk to with them today. So, Emily, would you introduce our fantastic guests this evening?
I would. I'm so excited to tell the story because I'm going to start with like a little backstory. I love art festivals, and I love them so much that I went to one all by myself, alone this summer, and I was perusing the booths, which I love to do because I like to like get ideas and get inspired, and it's all around generally a good day, especially because they have this. The one I went to every year has this amazing cheese curd booth, and yeah, I'm in Minnesota and the Midwest, and so cheese curds are it. Anyway, cheese curds aside, one of the first booths I happened upon was this really impressive looking booth with artwork, and it looked like they were selling books. I couldn't tell, and I decided to walk up and ask, what is this? And that's when I met Nina, and she started telling me about what they were there doing that day, which was selling some art and selling a magazine called The Fine Print. And so I knew after looking through the magazine, which I bought immediately that day, that we had to have them on the show to talk about this because it was so cool. So welcome to the show, Nina and Caroline.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. So you
Hi.
guys are the founders of this, yes?
Mhm.
Yeah, we started the club last November,
Yeah,
pretty much.
at our high school.
Okay. It started as a high school club. And tell us about the purpose of this.
Um,
Well, we created it as like a platform to like uplift the arts community in our school. So me and Caroline are both writers, and then I also like to draw and create other pieces of artwork. And it's so hard to like find places to like share, not only share your artwork, but like receive some sort of distinction and recognition and like make anything really special out of it. So me and Caroline made the magazine as a place to put as much student artwork as possible in a finely created and nice presenting magazine so anybody could see it.
yeah.
That was the inspiration.
What we noticed at our school was that a lot of other fields, such as like music or maybe like STEM fields, get a lot of recognition, especially in school activities. And they're also some of the most well-regarded fields. And in that sense, we saw that kind of art and writing and like the literary arts in general were kind of being put to the side. So we thought it was really important that every single student at our school had a place where they could celebrate their passions and interests, no matter what they were. And now we have the magazine, and it's great.
Wonderful. And it is great. It is, I have to say, it's if you don't have one in your hands, you should get one in your hands. But also, like, it has a really nice, high quality cover. All of the paper feels really nice. Like, it feels like a good book to hold and to peruse through, read through in like physically. I liked that about it. How did you were you able to decide the quality and like how you did all of this yourselves?
Yeah, so basically how it worked was we collected all the student art and writing, and I designed it in Adobe InDesign, which if you do magazines or if you do books, you know the horror that is Adobe InDesign. But we designed it all, and then we sent it to a printing press. It was a local one. It's called Smart Press in Chanhassen.
Okay.
And from there, we were able to choose like the paper quality and like the thickness of the paper and the type of ink that we wanted to use. We actually did splurge a little with the printing quality for this one because we actually drew inspiration from The Tower, which is the literary magazine from the University of Minnesota. And I got one of their magazines in my hands and I was like, oh my God, this cover is so nice. And it's called a soft touch cover.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I was like, okay, how can we get this for our magazine? And it was a few cents extra, but I thought that it brought so much more to the presentation of the magazine. And that's what we went with. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's more like a book, like a volume of a series of books you'd want to keep. Not just like a periodical that you read one month and throw away and get the next one, or store it under your bed for, eternity until you decide to purge your life. It's definitely one that it's like that kind of quality. And I loved that about it. It just feels really special.
Yeah. A lot of people that we met at art fairs called it like a coffee table book, which was a huge honor because like we're on someone's coffee table. That's really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was something that was great.
Can't
Oh yeah,
trust
there
you.
it is in
It's
the
right there
background.
on my shelf.
I am kind of curious, because you had mentioned a few months ago that there weren't as many avenues for like literary arts or for like mixed media type of art, like drawings or those sorts of things. Um, I am kind of curious where. Oh, I had a question and it left me. This always happens. Oh gosh. All right, I'm gonna come back to that. Hold that thought. I will remind myself and we'll get back to that question.
Do you want me to take? You want me
Yes.
to keep talking?
Please.
So Kaz said, "You've got this, Trey." Speaking of sweet potato cats, no, I'm just kidding. We were talking before the show about nerding out, and we noticed that Nina has a Millennium Falcon made out of Lego behind her, and we thought that was so cool. So we were wondering what you guys nerd out about.
I feel like the biggest thing that we nerd out together about is like Studio Ghibli films. And like it's been like the year of Ghibli, so I've like been wanting to go out and see it in theaters.
That's
But-
very exciting too.
Yeah. That was like how we became friends. I think we were talking about like some like Studio Ghibli movie for like 2 hours when we like first met, and that was how we became friends. But yeah.
That's a great thing to bond over.
I do have to ask, if you had to choose one film, what is your favorite Studio Ghibli film?
Oh my God.
For me, I think Ponyo just has a special place in my heart, and I have to pick it as my favorite.
I think Kiki's Delivery Service, because I think the storyline was just like very genuine. It was very relatable. Nina and I actually went as the characters for Halloween one year,
Oh,
which is
cool.
which so it also adds like some sentimental value there. But yeah.
That's awesome.
Kiki's Delivery Service was actually my first Ghibli film that I saw. I rented it from a video rental store in my town and was like, what is this magic? And then it was Howl's Moving Castle after that. And since then, it's Howl's Moving Castle has been like top tier.
Kaz said Graveyard of the Fireflies.
Oh,
Oh, that
God.
was so sad.
Oh, that's
That was sad.
that's really sad.
That's a rough one.
It was still a really good movie. So I'm curious, how did you both get into writing? And Nina, you mentioned that you also get into a little bit of drawing.
I mean, for me, I've been drawing like my whole life. You know, as a kid, I admired so many other artists, especially that you saw like online, and especially comic book artists. And so that's how I got into writing, like through comics, because that was the combination of both art and writing. And then honestly, my writing really took off when I met Caroline, because she just had this writing, would talk about it. And I mean, I started writing on my own based just on my life and experiences. And that's how I got into it.
Do you find that you're inspired? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, wait. Finish with Nina first. For
Oh,
sure.
I was going to ask you both how you inspire each other then, based on your answer. But
Oh, I was gonna say like I guess how I started writing first, but like I started writing in 8th grade, which is when I was in 8th grade. That was the pandemic year. Like we were all stuck at home. We weren't really doing anything. And the thing about writing is that there's like a giant community of it, online. It's like the teen writing community, and
Oh.
one of our goals with the magazine was actually to bring that community to something that was more tangible and in person. Because what I found was that when I started writing and when I started getting involved with more like teen writing activities that were happening online, like online literary magazines and online competitions, I found that there was such a big community of writers who wanted to share their work with each other and who were very like vulnerable and open with their work in the same vein. Um, and that was how I got super involved with writing because the online community was just so supportive. And I was like, how can we bring that online community into our real lives? Because that was something that I found, even though it was big online, it wasn't very big where I was, or like in our school or in our communities. And we were like, if we feel that way, then somebody else also feels that way. So,
Like,
For sure.
how cool that you keep sharing it, and that you wanted to continue that sharing of experiences and sharing of the artwork between each other. Um, Within that, do you ever find it hard to maintain that level of vulnerability with your work, or do you feel it kind of easy now that you've been putting it out there?
oh,
That's a
okay.
good question.
It's a really good question. For me, vulnerability is like really odd because especially as things change and you can view your writing so dramatically different. Like there are pieces that are in the magazine that like my feelings about have completely changed over time, but that moment of me feeling them still exists and is printed and is in tens and tens of copies. And so it's definitely like a duality with both like accepting that reality and still having to continue to be vulnerable because that's like a part of life and sharing and experiencing all
Yeah.
those emotions that come with writing.
I like abs. Okay, I when I first started writing and first getting work published, I absolutely hated when other people would like read my work because I had like friends at school and they would like Google my name and the story would come up and they would read it and they'd be like, "Did this actually happen to you?" And I would be like, "Did you really have to ask that question?" um, but the more I wrote, the more I was like, "Okay, you know what? Everybody's doing this. Everybody's like putting a part of their soul online." And you as you continue writing you kind of learn to be able to look other writers in the face, know that they've written whatever they've written, and know that they're still separate from the emotions that they pour into their work, because as Nina said, oftentimes it's like a moment in time that you feel that way. So I think that's an important part of being an artist, like learning to separate the person and their character from their experiences.
That's a
Well,
small part of you that could be even gone now, but it
Right.
still exists.
Yeah.
What an answer. That's really great. So, do you inspire each other? Do you find that happening?
Yeah.
I mean, for me, like, definitely. I mean, even if it's like about a completely random topic, Caroline's usually the first person I go to, like, what do you think about this? Like, oh, I just had this, like, notes app thought. And Caroline will either be super blunt and be like, this is the worst take I've ever heard, or be like, maybe there's something there.
I've never said that. I've literally never said that. Wait.
She's like, you're
truth comes
fired.
out.
Okay. You know
You're
what?
fired.
Okay.
That's great.
Okay, I was gonna say, like, Nia definitely inspires me in the sense that she has influenced a lot of the ways like I look at life overall, which has then influenced my writing, like the ways I look at friendship or relationships or other things like that. So I think like it's a new perspective that we bring to each other that we are then able to bring into our art and writing that makes it so great.
I think so too. How have you seen your mission? Like your original purpose was to give access to people who are writing to be able to be published and celebrated. What ways have you seen that come true and that you were right, that other people feel this way?
For artists, definitely. Like I am a part of my school's National Art Honor Society, and this is just like a community of writers who found like one of the only art clubs and communities in our school, and like they're just excitement when they saw like our promotional issues and was talking about it. Like I would go and speak in the club and like in the AP art classes, and they were just so excited to have a place where they could show their art because so many of them also have like online social media platforms, art accounts where they like share and post their stories and their artwork. But it's so hard to like really get it out there and seen, especially in like school settings and other places they want it to be shown. And so I think that was one of the real places I saw like impact. And then
One thing that I saw was, first of all, when people who I didn't even know did art or writing asked if they could submit or how they could submit to the magazine. And also when I on social media, I'm connected with a lot of other people from different states who do writing and art, and some of them actually found the account of the magazine, probably in like the suggested following part.
Mm-hmm.
And they DM'd and they asked if they could submit to our magazine, even though like they were in like a different state or they were at a different school. And I was like, this is something that is so needed everywhere, to the point where people from all over want to submit and want to be part of it, even though it's not even at their school or their location. And that was when it was like a moment for us where we were like, it's important. And we actually were able to, or we're hoping to create a program where we help other schools start their own magazines in that same vein. Like we're working
Cool.
on one at Woodbury High School, which is the other high school in our district. There have been people from other districts who DM us and ask for tips on how to start a magazine, and we actually saw someone start their own, and they DM'd us and they were like, do you have tips for XYZ, how to fund, how to print, how to design? And that was one of the moments where I was like, oh my god, that we were able to inspire someone else. So
That's okay, that's cool. Like for them to see your first like publication and then immediately say, "How can we do this?"
Yeah.
yeah.
That's so cool. How validating. That's really great.
Yeah.
It does make me question, like, what is it? You've mentioned that, and I think that is an incredible thing. But what is something that amazing that has happened for you as a result of creating the magazine?
Oh my god.
There's so many different like veins in the way that